And thank you very much for joining us today in another exciting adventure with us. For those of you who are fleeing from the darkness virus and making your way through life, living life on your own terms and figuring out how to do the things the right way in life, I would like you to don't forget to visit us at followus.nsa6.com so you can choose whether you want to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, any podcast that we have available to you, in order for you to learn the techniques and tricks and tips. There you go. That will help you achieve life and make things happen the way you want. Today's show is going to be really exciting. With me is Luna9, and I also have with me L1. Hello, guys. How you doing today?
Hey.
Really excited to have you on board. I like today's topic, by the way. I'll let Luna and I, if you want to introduce today's topic, it would be really nice. Just briefly give us an idea of what we're up against and why is this so important, maybe, and some of your experiences really quickly on how this topic kind of helps you. L1, if you would do the same right after Luna 9, just to figure out where you guys stand on this thing. Luna?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's going to be a mouthful. So for the BrainSnax for today, we're actually going to be talking about thinking long term. So what does it mean to think long term? So we're going to talk about being able to think about problems and solutions and possible obstacles and goals projected into the future longer than just the next day. So we know you've done it before, so we're just going to talk about that and get more into details with that. But yeah, what about you, L1?
Well, I think we had another, there's another BIBX BrainSnax out there that talks about long-term saving, like actually saving money. And some people think that long-term thinking is harder to do than long-term saving. I actually think it's the opposite. You know why? Because with long-term saving, you actually need to have means like money in order to save. And for a lot of people, that's not possible. But I think long-term thinking can be done. Like, I think almost anybody can learn the habit of long-term thinking. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are the techniques for long-term thinking for you guys?
Well, first, let's go. I'll get into that in a minute.
So that's a secret.
Yeah.
Oh, secrets now.
Well, it's coming up.
Of course. Yeah, you're jumping already to the I think it's because you, the Novi, you do long-term thinking on a regular basis.
I know, that's exactly why. I wanted to hear what you guys have to say about it, because I'm like, you guys are talking long-term thinking. I'm like, what else is there but long-term thinking?
Well, listen, for some people though, and this might be shocking, but
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. This show's even on. You should be born with long-term thinking.
Well, a lot of people don't even know what they're gonna have for lunch when they wake up in the morning.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna have for lunch when I wake up. I didn't even know what I had like yesterday. But I still think about what I'm going to do tomorrow and the next day and stuff like that.
So a lot of people don't.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Well, first of all, I think for our listeners there, the Novi, I don't think this is going to shock you at all. But for our listeners out there, there are some cultures that used to plan their government structures, their city structures, their economy for at least 200 years in advance. That's a
Exactly. The Japanese used to do that. They actually groomed their children for the next 100 years.
Yeah. Amazing.
Well, they used to. Not everybody, not the entire culture, but those that are learned ed, as they say, they do it.
Well, first, let's redefine what it means long-term thinking, because I like Luna 9's definition. What does it mean to think long-term? First of all, it's being able to think about problems, solutions, possible obstacles, but also goals and what you want to do. It's not just thinking about bad things, people. So it's goals and dreams, achievements that's projected in the future that goes longer than just the immediate, which I say the next day, because a lot of people don't think past the next day.
Right, I agree with you. And I think that's one of the issues. I think that people do tend to think long term, but in broken parts. So almost subconsciously, they don't take the time to make it a regular habit because it's in pieces. So I think that putting together something as a full thought would be a great way to start practicing long-term thinking.
And being aware. Well, like you said people have done it before. Like New Year's goals. If you've done that, summer trips.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I would like to say that a lot of people like to think that, my grandpa, they were doing long-term thinking, but now these young people, they don't think. And I'm like, well, when your grandpa was young, he wasn't thinking either.
No.
It's only after you get beat up, shot down, You know
or
what I'm
usually
saying?
when something goes wrong and you're like, oh, I wish I had this, or if I had only brought that, or if
Right.
I only done this, then next time, because you got some scars,
Yeah, right.
you know how to
that,
build.
And that brings me to my next thing. I'm like, as soon as you say, hey, this is not going to work out for you for this, you're just being negative.
Right.
True or false? I mean,
It's true. But you know what?
But is the person being negative? Like
No.
a Debbie Downer? Is
Not
that
at
the name
all.
of that?
I
that
think it's
character,
called
Debbie
being.
Downer?
Oh God, the Debbie Downer.
People, I think the reason why people think it's negative is because people are sharing a past experience, but because I feel like in a way they still feel emotionally like distraught with what happened when they didn't
Yeah,
have.
and Okuko come get you after that.
Oh, Kuko.
Hey,
well,
Okuko.
Kuko's the master of wanting to have you not think long term.
Yeah.
Stroking his ego now. All right, Okuko, go away. We don't need you here. Get out of my head.
The first one to trip you, let me tell you what.
But you know what? I think it's so tragic that you have to be beat up.
I don't think you
that.
do. See,
that's what I was going to say. You keep jumping the gun here, the Novi.
Sorry?
You don't have to get beat up in order
like
to
you said,
learn
I don't
this.
live there. I live
agree.
thinking in the future.
No, I totally agree. You don't have to have scars, scrapes, and burns to be able to build a habit. Not
Exactly.
necessary.
Yeah. You just
So-
need to realize a few things, right?
Yes.
So we know for a fact that success is not achievable unless you plan and you put some type of structure down.
Then this goes for both your business life and personal life.
But
Remember,
business and personal life are the same. I think that
well,
people
that's the
make
whole point of BIBX BrainSnax.
exactly. I think that you need to know that business is how you conduct your affairs so that you can have longevity and live well.
Exactly.
So if you go to work for somebody, that is your business. And then you should have another business because, obviously they may not pay you enough, but that's beside the point. But that is your business. You should do that well and learn that the skills you're doing there are yours, right? And if people would not separate these things, I think that they can do all these techniques you're about to say, right?
Exactly. Well, I mean, realize a few things. And anybody who wants to join in while I'm saying this, first of all, realize it is a habit that needs to be built. And I think that's the reason why I think people's first reaction when they get introduced to long-term thinking.
You got a bonus point for that one.
Oh, right. So I
Look at
think
you.
the reason why people, will say you're just being negative is because it's uncomfortable to create a new habit. In fact, it might be scary. What do you think, Luna?
Yeah, I think it can be really scary. I mean, when you just don't know, you don't know. And when you haven't walked the path, sometimes it just feels it feels very sketch. But I think that sometimes, even though you are uncomfortable, if you have a goal set in mind, you have to, think with the end in mind. So when you look at the goal ahead of you, you have to also have stones to jump from, stepping stone to stepping stone. So that's a really easy way. I think that if you take it step by step and let's say if you're going on a trip, like we were talking about earlier, you gotta do your little travel kit. You gotta pack your stuff. You gotta get your toothbrush, your toothpaste, a washer for your face. I don't know, some extra toilet paper just in case, some undies. You gotta pack that stuff so you can just take it little by
Sounds
little.
to me like you're going on a mission.
Well, because some people, even when they go traveling, they're like, "Oh my God, this is so terrible. Like, I'm gonna have to pack and all
You're
this
telling
stuff."
me, oh my God.
So it's just like
Yeah, I
it
get
doesn't
it.
have to be so serious, It doesn't have to be so uncomfortable, but sometimes it will be. So I think just take it a step at a time, one
I think
by
being
one.
uncomfortable is an illusion, though, but I'm out of that. I'm not going to talk about illusions today.
Well, I think also too that people have the wrong perspective when they see potential problems, because that's one of the reasons why people say they don't want to do long-term thinking. They don't want to think about the problems down the line. But the way I see it is, I'd rather know about it and be grateful for it so I can prepare.
Take a list.
Oh yeah, the mindset
the
the mindset can make all the difference. It either can look like a problem or it can look like a challenge, which can be executed totally different. So the choice is yours.
Exactly. And then to go off of what Luna 9 was saying, goals is a great way to start practicing long-term thinking. But when I say goals, I'm not just talking about New Year's goals or summer vacation goals. Start in little bits, and increase the time. So for example, ask yourself, what would you like to have accomplished in the next 2 months? Then jump to 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. For a lot of people, that's scary in and of itself, but stretch your mind.
So when you do this, right, these techniques about stretching your mind, going about it in 1 year, 2 year kind of thing, I assume you're keeping some kind of chart.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, you have to.
And a dream board of some sort, perhaps?
Dream
to help you?
board. Some people do it all on paper. Some do it electronically. It's really up to you. As long as you can track it, and as long as you're going to do it.
And it's okay to break it every now and then because you're, you're human. So I just had to throw that one in
Well,
there.
sometimes you have to because things change.
Exactly, that's true too. But that
There's
would require the human being to take an adjustment and know where they're going.
Exactly.
First of all,
There's
right?
changes that happen that are beyond a human being's control sometimes.
I know you're telling me. So but you're saying track it to set a few goals for 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line. What do you want to do? And you know what? Neurologically, that sets your brain for success because you are telling your brain where you want to be. Once you ask the question or paint the picture in your brain only wants to go in that direction.
That is true.
So therefore, by doing this and writing it down, L1, I completely agree with you. It's like retraining a human being.
Exactly, but I think you're almost missing the most important question to ask, other than just
there's more?
what would you, of course. So in addition to asking what do you want to have accomplished in the next 2 months, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, etc., you also have to ask what skills, tools, resources do I need in order to achieve that?
Right, and that's another show you're going to give us or something like that?
Well, that in and of itself could
another
be 10
brain snack?
shows. That could be 10 shows.
Delicious. These brain snacks are delicious.
But you do have to check in on it on a regular basis.
And don't go putting ketchup on brain snacks.
But you do have to check in on it on a regular basis just to track your progress and to adjust. And yes, it's really going to be up to you what format you like to use. Like Luna 9 is very visual, so she'd probably go with the dream board.
Is that true, Luna 9? You go with the dream board?
It's true.
She's got you.
It's true. No, she's right. I mean, I'll have a notebook too that helps me kind of like take.
Notebook. Look at that.
You love paper. I love paper too.
Yeah. We're a fan of the stationary things.
All
but,
digital for me, ladies and gentlemen. All digital.
Of course.
And that's totally fine. Whatever works for you. But I do love the vision board. I'm a very visual person, so I like to clip something out, like little collages, or draw something, or like a statement of something that I want to look at so that it reminds me of that. That's something that I do. I also like to journal. I don't do very full journals, but I do kind of like bullet point journals. So that way I can kind of see like where I am for that day.
So journal it, digital, as long as accountability, I think is what you're getting at,
That's
right?
what it is.
I do weekly accountabilities. I feel like that's an easier way.
I've seen you. You got a technique called like a bullet journal, little boxes that you create on your.
Right.
Yes, I went snooping through your stuff.
No, I love it. I knew someone who actually wrote up to 50 years of what she wanted to do and achieve on one index card.
Okay, you got everybody's interest. Did she make it?
Well, I have no idea, but when the first thing I asked her, because she wrote it with such tiny handwriting, and I said, front and back.
She was a very small person.
I said, why did you write it all on an index card? Like, she said to myself, and she said to me, because I was thinking to myself, like, there's no way I'm going to read that. But she said to me, she's like, I can always have it with me. I can pack it. I can put it in my pocket. I can put it in my purse. And she's like, I'll always have it to remind me.
Crazy.
I was like, wow.
I love it. Some of the most successful people have some of the oddest little things that they do, like, a 5x5 card. It's weird.
Yeah.
Or a 4 or 3x5.
3x5.
3x5. It's about 3.5, something like that. So anyway, any closing comments?
Well, first of all, as long as you do it and start to create a new habit, like I said before, this is something that you can do regardless of the resources that you have now. Don't think about why you don't have the resources when you're planning long term.
You're buying me dinner. You're getting too many points.
Ha. In fact, that can stop you. Just pretend that you're gonna have the resources, and that's another trick of the mind, actually. You can actually trick your brain into getting the resources without even realizing it because you said you were going to get it. Oh, that's a totally different brain snacks, and that's SO life.
that might be a mem jogger on that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Luna 9, last comments?
Well, just remember some of the things that we talked about. Start practicing. It takes a habit that needs to be built. So even though it's a little uncomfortable,
you mean they're not absolutely natural? I'm not born with a list of habits in my pocket? I got to make them all up as I grow up.
That's the beauty of it. It's up to you.
Right. So, just keep on keeping on and you'll be just fine.
Well, that's fascinating. I just absolutely love that.
Oh, one last thing.
What's that?
This is my closing comment here. And thank you, Luna 9. Just want to say this BIBX BrainSnax has been self-sponsored. I usually say that in the beginning, but I think I forgot. So
by the Dynexum Project.
That's right.
Absolutely. If you have a social media or anything like that you're having trouble sponsoring it, give us a call. Just go to becomethesource.com, book an appointment. We'll show you how to do that. I think that it is most important for you to get your message out. It is a way that we can all fight the darkness virus, and that's for sure. We hope that this show brings you lots of love as well, and lots of opportunities for you to look at your life and say, you know what, I can do it too. Any last comments?
Well, remember, you are humanity's last hope.
And that's true. You are humanity's last hope. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is another exciting BIBX. Little BIBX BrainSnax for you. Little bite-sized chunks, as Luna likes to say. I'm sorry. L1 always says little bite-sized chunks, right?
Yeah.
Can you just say that one more time for me?
Little bite-sized chunks of knowledge and food for thought.
I love it. Till next time, I shall see you then.